recognized.
Well, thank you. First of all, I want to thank our Chairman, Mr. Costello, for holding this meeting. Mr. Petri and I have been concerned about the performance and the accident rates of our regional commuter carriers. We have some incredible expertise on this panel. Mr. DeFazio was a distinguished ranking member. You've had the chair, have another ranking member, Mr. Ehlers, and Ms. Capito. We have a great wealth of expertise on this panel, and I think that we have a responsibility to make certain that if there are deficiencies in the operation of our regional carriers, that actions are taken to correct those deficiencies. I understand, too, that Ms. Slaughter is here, and our sympathy certainly goes out to Ms. Slaughter, those from the Buffalo area, or anyone who lost loved ones in the tragic Buffalo commuter airline disaster, and to the others who have suffered similar losses. We'll hear from our FAA administrator. He's only been on the jobs less than 2 weeks. However, I have to express my concern that FAA as an agency has been immobilized, and for 2 years we haven't had an administrator. When I came to Congress, we had 5 administrators in about 6 years. We put in place a mechanism to change that. It's difficult enough when you have an agency with an administrator, let alone an agency that's so important and critical to safety, and not have a confirmed administrator in place. So I can't criticize in any way Mr. Babbitt. He's only been on the job 2 weeks, and these problems have festered the last several years. There's something wrong when we have commuter planes falling out of the sky. There's something wrong when we have repeated accidents. The chairman just spoke. We've had 6 very serious and loss of life, fatal commuter crashes. The potential factors outlined as to the reasons why we had those crashes all dealt with pilot performance. Well, I won't say all of them. I said at least 4 of the 6. Now, we instituted, when I became chairman, a risk-based system. And certainly that risk-based system would be geared to looking at where we've had problems. And if we have commuter airline crashes and we have pilot performance as a key issue and creating some of the factors that led to those crashes, the system there's something wrong in not addressing those deficiencies. It's my understanding that and let me go back to I think Peter was involved in this, our FAA reauthorization the last time. I think that Mr. DeFazio will recall that we saw NTSB come forward with recommendations that were not instituted. They would make a recommendation and then it would just sort of fall off the cliff, or it would stay on the shelf. Now, we put into law a mechanism that required that those recommendations be reported back to Congress that were not addressed. And I found out yesterday that the DOT and FAA were to have had in February to Congress their recommendations on deficiencies in aviation, and we still don't have those before Congress. So there's something wrong with what we passed, and we need to make certain that those recommendations do come to Congress, and that either FAA, DOT, or the administration, someone acts on those. And when you have repeated fatal crashes, and we have a risk-based system. We have a requirement for reporting those incidents, and nothing is done. There's something wrong. So, Mr. Chairman, you just said that we will pass legislation, and I'll join you. Let me say in closing, also, the FAA, and I think the chairman of NTSB has said he has recommended that we open up the performance records of pilots beyond 5 years. Now, it's limited to 5 years, and then a pilot has to give a waiver, and I understand the regionals often don't even ask for that. But those records must be open on their performance, and I think also on their training and their certification to be behind the yoke of an aircraft or in the pilot or co-pilot seat, so that we know that people with qualifications and training are there. We know that where we've identified deficiencies in a pilot's ability to perform or to be certified, that is known. So I will join you, our side of the aisle, Mr. Petri, I know will join you, in if we have to take corrective action by legislation, we will put in place whatever measure. If we have to go back, Mr. DeFazio, and change what we put into law to require that those recommendations by NTSB are not just left on the shelf, and I was stunned that FAA and DOT still have not gotten what should have been in February before us to us, and this is June. So again, in a spirit of cooperation, a spirit that we need to stop this carnage in the air, I look forward to working with you and pledge our support. Thank you. Yield back.